He's the shove-it man, oh he's the shove-it man. He's gonna shove it, yeah, he's gonna shove it, man.
Alright, welcome back to the Shove It Show in the least viewed series on YouTube. Who's ready to spray? It's NWA TNA. The main thing coming out of the last episode was that Chris Harris was unable to beat Slapnuts. Who saw that one coming? We start this week with a tag team tournament. Shows how times have changed that this company could rustle up 8 different tag teams in 2003. It'll be about half of that now. Douglas is here to discuss recent problems of his group as there's been tension. He teases smacking out Shawn Michaels' cousin, but doesn't do it. Instead, he strongly believes that they will become the tag team champions. They face the team of Christopher Daniels and the Warrior Low Key. It's a Triple X reunion. It's good to see the Warrior back. Michael Shane is destroyed with double team face washes. They scrub him so much that he's not going to need a bath for a week. It doesn't go much better for Shane Douglas. They stack him on the top rope and hit double drop kicks. Skipper is shown happily watching his guys backstage. Low Key hits Mongolian chops to Douglas before he turns it around for his team. I started zoning out because the new franchise makes me feel sick with boredom. Daniels finally wipes him out of a kick to the back of the head. Low Key also takes out Douglas with a rolling kick. He starts peppering Michael Shane with kicks as the snot really starts to fly. He somehow survives that and hits a flatliner. Finally, some Triple X teamwork to destroy Michael Shane. Daniels also hits the BME, the best moonsault ever, with the pin getting broken up. Douglas takes him out of the ring. Meanwhile, Low Key wipes out Michael Shane in the corner. Tracy Brooks tries to fly with the pie in the sky, but smashes her own guy. Triple X win with a powerbomb neckbreaker combination. Very average, but the new franchise is just not good, so I won't blame this on Triple X. Despite everybody and their cat hoping that this is the end of the new franchise, they are sadly going to be let down. In the back, it's the gifted cab drivers, the gifted Glenn Gilberti, how is he gifted, and the master of the cab driver slam, David Young. And Trinity too for some reason, because TNA can't bother to do anything with her. They are entering the tag title tournament, but Glenn is worried that David Young is too much of a jobber. Kid Cash walks up and says he can't trust any of these people, and he says his tag team partner is out injured, so he has to go back to his roots tonight. Gilberti inquires if this means he's going back to the trailer park. No, he's bringing his personal family member. Kid Cash predicts that the two teams will meet in the second round. The gifted cab drivers versus Slash and Sin, who haven't been seen for a long time. Remember when he was Kazani? Yeah, that didn't go well. Wolfie D's having a few medical bills right now, by the way, so if you're a fan of PG-13, you can help him out. But he's quite a proud man, so maybe just check out his podcast. Anything like that will help him. Anyway, Slash and Sin hit a nice double team. They keep the double team going with a dropkick, rush and leg sweep. Gilberti should be done after a leapfrog splash, but somehow no. David Young causes a distraction and Disco's able to take advantage and tag out. Young decks Sin with a powerful clothesline. It's now the gifted cabbie's turn to double team. David Young misses a cab driver assault, but he still has something in the tank as he fights off Sin's next move, and there it is, the cab driver slam, the cab driver slam. It's over. No, Slash breaks up the pin. Gilberti back in and he sets up for the Village People's elbow. As usual, he misses it. The crowd chant Disco sucks dick. Young is too slow to prevent the tag to Slash. Slash hits a pump kick to Disco and another one to the cabbie. Slash hits a net breaker and the gifted cab drivers are really struggling here. He snap slams Young for a 2. The gifted cab drivers start cheating with Trinity also attacking Sin, but Slash still manages to double drop kick the drivers. Sin returns to the ring and hits a Rough Rider as Slash hits the whirly bird to the cab driver. It's over. No, no, no. How could it go down like that? Vince Russo is in the back with a bunch of wrestlers. The man called Raisin is upset as he's found out that he's been suspended from the internet due to his actions last week. Raven feels they're treating him like a high schooler. He says he's better than every single man in the room, as don't look at my ass Yaki struggles to keep it together. Raven is very upset and feels betrayed by his best friend Vince Russo. They then have a tug of war over Sabu. Next out, Don Harris. How is this guy still getting TV time each week? Thankfully, he's jumped by the most recently returned alpha male. Monty charges with a chair into his face. He's throwing refs about and he crushes the Harris twins' arm. This is a highly enjoyable segment. Monty grabs the mic and starts introducing his alpha male character to the crowd. He says it's not rabbit season, it's not duck season, it's open season on any wrestler who gets in his face. That's a challenge which is answered by Sabu. Sabu isn't a jobber and reverses the alpha bomb. He starts hitting familiar Sabu offense on Monty. He gets some decent height on the triple jump moonsault. Monty dodges some chair shots and dumps his Napier Fear and runs away. Well, that went from great to turd quickly. In the back, Team AAA are still here for some reason. Apparently, in 2 weeks, it's going to be the 3rd World X Cup. Jesus, TNA, aren't you overdoing this a bit? Hector Garza will now be the captain of Team Mexico as Juventud Guerrera has been removed and exchanged with a wrestler called Heavy Metal. Another tag tournament match will be the notorious KID Kid Cash and his random tag team partner will be the debuting Lance Archer. They hint that they're brothers. They take on the Diamond Man and the Don't Look at My Ass Man. Diamond is upset because he wanted to fight Johnny Swinger instead. Cash gets smashed and beaten up for ages. Despite that, they can't actually get the free on him. Everybody's waiting to see what the big man can do. Archer eventually cheats, allowing Cash to make the tag. He assists Cash with a moonsault on the Diamond. Archer also hits his own big boot for a 2. The double teaming continues with Archer treating Kid Cash like a missile for another 2. Cash hits a backbreaker as the crowd desperately plead for Siaki to get into this match. Diamond is crushed with a double back body drop. Archer with a side slam now. I refuse to believe that a jobber like Simon Diamond could possibly survive this onslaught of moves. The big man wants to do something cool now. Cash climbs up him on the top rope, but he misses his moonsault.
NWA Impact brings you the Smack of the Week, sponsored by All New Blonde for Men. If you're a brown-haired Potter, put some blonde in it. It makes you look hotter.
Oh man, it's the notorious Kid Cash and his big brother from another mother. This Kid Cash, man, he's climbing up his own partner, man, like he's Mount Everest and he's about to reach the summits. But oh man, instead he dives and he plummets. Kid Cash catches nothing but the mat and a rash.
That was the NWA TNA Smack of the Week, sponsored by Blonde Just for Men. Get it? Got it? Shove it.
The show ends with Russo warning Raven that next week he is screwed and AJ Styles and Raven fight. It was alright. The first half of the show was borderline unbearable, but things picked up during the second half. If you don't agree with that, I'll make sure you never laugh. Diamond tags Don't Look at My Ass. Siaki hits a pop-up power slam to Cash and he smacks out Archer. Siaki now have a pop-up Samoan drop, which I'm okay with, but I'm not okay with it just being a 2 count. The heels have too much for him though, and they crush him with a high-low. Diamond wakes up and super kicks Archer out the ring and he flies down on top of him. It ends when Archer hits Siaki in the head with a pipe. Wow, not a good night for the main characters on the Shove It show. AJ Styles has a complaining segment about how he's not been booked on this show after Raven screwed him out of the world title. Vince Russo marches up and wants them to be best friends again. AJ isn't having it and he's furious that he's been screwed but can't have a chance at redemption. The next match will be another tag match, the Naturals taking on the Mold Dog. He's flying solo because apparently Konad has no-showed. The DO, Double G, does okay for a while all on his own. Konad actually runs out halfway through the match and somehow this makes the situation worse for the Free Live crew. There's a ref bump and Konad has powder thrown in his face and the Naturals beat Konad with a chair shot. Not much to say. Up next, a wild slapnuts appears.
Jeff Jarrett.
He laughs at Chris Harris for proving him right that he isn't ready. Jarrett is very happy because he doesn't have to compete for a while until they establish who his next challenger will be. Mike Tenay randomly brings out the icon Sting, completely unadvertised by the way. Mike Tenay wants to know about Sting's movie about his life. Apparently, from my research, this was essentially a documentary about Sting's life called Moment of Truth. Apparently, it's hilariously bad as they tried to recreate moments from WCW but by using TNA wrestlers. It's also essentially a vehicle to convert people to Christianity. He blathers on about his crap film forever, nobody cares. He does say that it will be here on the next show and he's going to get involved in something. Truth cuts a promo about his upcoming match. He has a chance to become the #1 contender for the world title tonight. He says he's doing this for the crew. Randomly, Goldilocks interrupts him. She insinuates that she is now the manager of Abyss. Okay, Abyss versus Ron the Truth Killings for a shot at the world title. We start out hot with Truth smashing Abyss out of the ring and diving on him with a Hurricanrana. It leads to a giant brawl taking place in the crowd for a very long time. They return to the ring with Truth hitting a scissors kick on a chair. He continues using the chair like he's freaking Sabu. Abyss is having a hard time now. He gets the splits into the kicks. Truth keeps going when he hits a falling headbutt to the nutsack, and I don't care how much of a monster you are, that's gonna hurt. He connects with a middle rope dropkick and he even hits the front suplex. He's about to win the match when Raven drags the referee from the ring. Man, Abyss is getting a lot of help from Raven in these matches. Abyss hits a shock treatment backbreaker, but that's a 2 only. Despite being a known dick, Raven's allowed to stay at ringside. Abyss hits the black hole slam and yet again Raven's in the ring, this time hitting Abyss with the chair. The referee throws the match out, which was going along pretty nicely. AJ Styles hits the ring to beat up Raven. He's really giving it to Raven when Abyss wakes up and black hole slams AJ. You'd think Abyss would be upset at Raven. All 4 guys fight. Just put them in a fatal 4-way, Russo. Instead, we get the wrestlers from the TNA locker room breaking it up. Do you know a wrestling trope that I think needs to die? You know, like when the match has been thrown out but everybody's still good to continue, why not just let the match continue? Wouldn't it be more inconvenient for the promotion to have to take time booking another match for the following week? Truth has the mic and he complains that TNA haven't been letting him talk because they're worried about what he'll say. Truth asks for a fatal 4-way next week. Jerry Lynn is still talking about the World X Cup. He thinks Team NWA will win next time. Newsflash, Jerry Lynn, you didn't even get to take part in the last one. And that sure doesn't make you grin. Scott D'Amore makes fun of Lynn and Skipper for being jobbers. Slappy was causing chaos down in Mexico, which is why he probably hasn't really been on this show. It's also announced that a fatal 4-way match will take place next week with the winner facing Chris Harris and then the winner facing final boss Slapnuts. Man, I forgot about Chris Harris, so these 4 guys are essentially fighting over being the number 2 contender. Speaking of Braden Walker, here he is. Apparently his partner James Storm is injured again. Not been a good year for James Storm. He's also been suspended, which is kind of irrelevant if he's injured. But in typical TNA fashion, he is suspended without pay. Typical TNA, take an injured man's money away. He'd probably spend it on beer anyway. Harris says although he couldn't beat Slapnuts, he's come out of that match with more pride and belief than he had before. He's dying to face Jarrett again. Pretty good promo. Randomly, the X Division is the main event, a 6-way elimination match for the number 1 contendership. Pete Williams versus Nasawa versus Frankie Kazarian versus Prime Time versus Jerry Lynn versus... Oh wow, Amazing Red is back. I assume Chris Sabin's the champion, but we haven't seen him for a while. Red doesn't look like he's missed a step as he smashes Williams with a big DDT. Nasawa gets a 2 on a super kick to Lynn. Lynn gets his own 2 on his own kick. Primetime destroys Pete Williams' gut with a suplex onto the ropes and decapitates him with a leg drop too. Kaz grabs him and they keep reversing hip tosses until Skipper goes out the ring and Kaz hits a flip dive. The Amazing Red of course joins in with the diving. Lynn cashes Nasawa with a pile driver and he's eliminated. Williams tries to dive into a Hurricanrana which Lynn stops and they both fall out of the ring. Everyone's down and there's a lull in the action. Kaz gets us started back up again, drop kicking Lynn and Skipper together. Skipper later hits his rope walk Hurricane on Kaz. He shouldn't have bothered though because Red dives on him with a DDT. P.T. Williams breaks up the pin for some unknown reason. Maybe he didn't know the rules. Lynn kicks Red through the ropes and he immediately heads over to see if he's actually okay. Whilst that's going on, the camera manages to completely miss Kaz eliminating Skipper. Jerry Lynn isn't happy about that and he crushes Kaz against the ropes. Red is fine by the way and he returns with a double missile dropkick. P.T. Williams counters the code Red before Lynn wipes him out of a TKO. Lynn takes Kaz out. No idea he kicked out of the move though. The crowd want to see Jerry Lynn win this one. They're going to be disappointed. Kaz and Williams work together to eliminate Jerry Lynn, so now the crowd are upset. They continue working together to crush the Amazing Red. He manages to kick out. Williams hits one of the first ever Canadian destroyers in TNA history, but it doesn't seem to be his finisher at this time. Kaz and Williams end up having a fallout, and Kaz hits the Wave of the Future to eliminate Williams. Kazarian has Red served up on a plate. Despite that, Red reverses Back to the Future into a code Red. No, it's not over. Red simply kicks his leg out though and hits the Red Star Press for the 3. Pretty cool to see Amazing Red back in the title picture. I wonder if he'll ever finish his feud with Raisin. The camera quickly cuts away to show a giant brawl happening in the back. Next week's show sounds like a good one with a fatal 4-way and the return of the Icon. But that's all you get for now, and if you don't agree with that, I'll beat your brow.